Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Green Flame, the broadcast that brings you radical analysis, practical skills, and artistic expression from the revolutionary movement to defend the planet and rebuild just human communities. I am your host and comrade, Jennifer Mernan. This episode is part of a series of short interviews with leaders of the new environmental organization BED, Blue Earth Defense. Hi, Max. How are you doing?
Good, Jennifer. Glad to be here with you.
Yeah, this is very odd to be interviewing you about this new organization, Blue Earth Defense, when you're, obviously Green Flame. Would you like to explain to the listeners who you are with Blue Earth Defense?
Well, I've been organizing with a lot of the people who came together to found Blue Earth Defense for many years now. And back in 2023 now, I left Deep Green Resistance after many years with that organization. And me and a bunch of other folks decided to start this new organization, Blue Earth Defense. And our idea was, we agreed with much of the work that we've been doing for many years. We hadn't had a major change of heart, but we thought we have to do this in a different way. We need to approach this work in a new way and do so together, continue working with the same folks we've been working with. And so that was the genesis of Blue Earth Defense. We saw the need for an organization. There's a need for many organizations around the world to do the hard grassroots work of organizing to stop the destruction of the planet. And that's what Blue Earth Defense, or BED, is ultimately all about. It's about bringing people together. It's about taking action. It's about resisting the industrial scale devastation of our planet, whether we're talking about global warming, logging, mining, the industrialization of the oceans, or anything else, and showing different ways that can be done. From the most radical to more community-based solutions.
Is there anything about Blue Earth Defense that makes it unique?
Yeah, well, it's a new organization that's starting up. So, we are in the process of establishing our identity, establishing who we really are. But there are a few things that make us different than other organizations. One is that we have a firm grounding in resisting greenwashing. So we have a critique of green technologies like solar panels, electric cars, wind turbines, etc. A lot of that is grounded in my work that has been going on for many years, critiquing that, and the work of other thinkers who have been critiquing these green technologies for many, many years. We have an analysis that's rooted in the importance of patriarchy to the destruction of the planet, the interrelationship between patriarchy and industrial civilization, industrial capitalism, and how these ideological systems and systems of power are interconnected and interwoven and mutually supporting. And and I think the other thing that makes us unique is that we're not afraid to be radical. I mean, I've made a name for myself in some ways. Much of my work has been focused on calling for the targeted sabotage of industrial infrastructure. And that's a position that I still hold to, that we still hold to, is that there's a place for truly radical actions in this political moment, in this time that we find ourselves in, this dire time of converging crises. And that is unfortunately quite rare. We're seeing that begin to change. There's been a rise in support for different forms of eco-sabotage around the world, which in some ways is unfortunate because it's often coming about because governments, corporations are either not taking action at all, they're taking action in the wrong direction, or when they do take action, they're greenwashing. And so, climate movements, environmental movements have often found themselves having to resort to these types of eco-sabotage tactics, these more radical tactics. As protest movements have been criminalized, other tactics become foreclosed and are shown to be ineffective in the face of these policies.
Great. I know that we are here because we're approaching the official launch of Blue Earth Defense. And of course, along with the launch is going to be an ask. What does Blue Earth Defense need right now in this moment as a new organization, with this unique perspective?
Yes. Well, the biggest thing we need is folks to support, and that I think comes in two main ways. We need people to get involved, which means we need volunteers, we need people to put in the work. The reality is that most organizing work like this is not glamorous. It's not particularly fun. It's not out on the front lines doing something really cool. Most of it is grunt work. Most of it's behind the scenes. Most of it's labor. It's hard work. It's the organizing, it's scheduling meetings, it's organizing committees, it's bringing people together, it's drafting documents, facilitating discussions, mitigating disagreements, all these types of things. That is essential, and it allows the more glamorous, the more action-oriented type of work to happen. And we need people to make that happen. We need folks to volunteer their time, their energy, and commit to participating in a movement like this. Very simple things like creating and organizing a website, creating and organizing volunteer recruitment and what folks are going to be doing as volunteers, organizing membership, facilitating meetings and assemblies between the different groups and members all over the world, writing, different types of art and creative endeavors that help to put the message out there and raise the profile of a group like this. And then, of course, we need people to volunteer to actually take action with Blue Earth Defense, to engage in campaigns, to fight for the land and so on, because that's ultimately what it's all about. It's all working to support that decisive kind of action which can actually protect the land. And so if folks want to do that either under the umbrella of Blue Earth Defense as a member of the group or as sort of a member of a coalition, you can bring your organization to join Blue Earth Defense and become part of it as a coalition, then we welcome folks for that. And the other way that people can support is through donating. It's a very small organization for now. We only have one paid staff who is located in the Philippines, my friend Ja, amazing organizer who's been active in these movements for many, many years. In some ways, we are benefiting from international financial colonialism and capitalism because Ja can support himself and support his family off a relatively small amount of money compared to what somebody needs to get by here in the United States or somewhere else. So we're supporting Ja. That's not the reason why, but that's just the situation. That's the reality. We're supporting Ja to be our main organizer for the time being. He's helping ramp up and organize our activities as we begin and get moving forward. So we need folks to donate to support that. It costs money to run an organization, just basic things like I mentioned, running a website, printing materials, travel costs to get people to action, supplies, and so on. All these things cost money. We've got very low overhead for the time being, but we don't want it to remain that way because we want to expand, we want to scale, not for the sake of having organization for its own sake, not to create more bureaucracy or administration when it's not needed, but simply because this work is so important that we think it must expand. And that's what we're trying to do. So we could really use people's financial support.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just say that I'm very grateful to have this conversation with you. It's great to be getting this organization up and running. We've been working behind the scenes for a long time now to get it going. And I have to give credit to you and Ja and other folks in the organization because I played a relatively small role up to this point. I'm mostly focused on an advisory role for the time being. That may change in the future. But I want to thank you and everyone else who's been pushing BED forward because I think it's very important.
I think that it may be a young organization, but it is a very wise one because of the role that you've played as an advisor and because of all the wealth that comes in because there's all this experience.
Thank you for that, Jennifer. And I would say it's certainly not just me. There's probably a couple centuries worth of organizing experience among the folks in the organization, if not more. And we're putting that we're putting that to good use.
And absolutely the entire range of human community, too. Moms and dads and grandpas and grandmas and young ones and old ones and every form of activism and activist there can be, and a lot from the global South. I really am happy that we have the organizer. Our first paid staff is in the Philippines.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Bye. This is Jennifer Mernan, one of the hosts of The Green Flame. Thank you for listening to our show. If you would like to support The Green Flame, you can subscribe to our new YouTube channel. You can listen to previous Deep Green Resistance Green Flame episodes on Apple, Spotify, and all the rest, even YouTube. Please leave positive reviews and share these shows with your friends. Finally, the goal of this show is to activate people. So if you really want to support the Green Flame, start organizing in your own community.